With the steak and eggs diet and 8x8 high-intensity training, Vince Gironda had a massive influence on shaping the bodybuilding industry, notably on some of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, including Arnold Schwarzenegger and Larry Scott. In this video, I'll go over exactly how Vince Gironda evolved to use these unconventional methods and how they revolutionized the bodybuilding industry. Vince was born November 9th, 1917 in the Bronx, New York, and had a fairly late start to his fitness journey when he was 22. He quickly started to become obsessed with bodybuilding and started competing in several shows in the 1940s and 50s. But how did he build such a great physique naturally at such a young age? Well, let's start with his workout routine. Vince Gironda's training philosophy emphasized isolation movements over compound exercises. Isolation exercises, which target specific muscle groups, he believed were the key to achieving symmetrical and an aesthetically pleasing physique. Vince believed that compound exercises like bench press and squat were ineffective for building muscle and could even cause muscle imbalances. There were also 3 core principles that he followed to allow for optimal muscle growth. Number 1. Intensity. If Vince performed multiple sets in an exercise, the first sets would be for warm-up and then the last 1 to 2 were taken to absolute muscle failure. This allows all of the type 2 larger muscle fibers to be activated and stimulated to grow. As shown by Henneman's size principle, muscle fibers are recruited in sequential order, making it necessary to perform a high intensity of effort in order to stimulate the large muscle fibers, which helps the muscles to grow in size. Number 2. Isolation. This allows the body to focus on fewer muscle groups at once, which can provide a better growth response as there are less muscle groups that are able to assist. For example, he'd prefer to use a bicep curl for growing the biceps rather than a chin-up, which also stimulates the biceps but also stimulates the back as well. And principle number 3. Short rest periods. There's a very common misconception nowadays that there needs to be a rest period of 2 to 5 minutes to let our muscles completely recover so that we can properly perform our next set. And this is true, but the purpose of bodybuilding isn't to do more sets and reps, it's to fatigue the muscle in order to stimulate growth. This is why Vince used to use rest times of around 30 seconds between sets to ensure that the muscle never fully recovered. In some cases, he would do drop sets by dropping the weight just so that he could properly perform the set. And this is okay as it allows a deeper fatiguing of the muscle. All of these combined allow sufficient muscle fatigue, which allow the muscle to grow. Remember, the whole point of bodybuilding routines is to fatigue the muscle to a point that it is forced to grow back stronger. Exercise itself is actually catabolic, meaning that it breaks down the muscle. But it's a good thing our bodies are smart, and this induces a stimulus to allow our bodies to repair and make us even stronger than before. And one of the most important aspects of recovery is diet. This is what allows us to obtain all of the proper nutrients that we need to allow our bodies to build back stronger. If we do not provide our body with the proper nutrition, the exercise we've done is completely useless or potentially even harmful. This is why Vince claimed that over 85% of the gains are attributed to diet. Over the years, Vince followed a variety of diets, but he was never a big fan of carbs. As all carbs broke down to sugar in the body, he never really saw a point in eating many. And I would agree. Protein is what builds muscle, not carbs. Which is why in order to get shredded for bodybuilding shows, he would follow the steak and eggs diet. The steak and eggs diet would consist of, well, steak and eggs. This allows the body to get all of the nutrients it needs to maintain optimal health and muscle rebuilding capabilities, while eliminating all of the highly inflammatory junk foods and carbs. Now, I know you might be thinking, what about fiber? What about vitamins? And don't we need carbs? Well, the steak and eggs diet was basically just a version of the modern day carnivore diet, which many people, including high-performance athletes, eat year-round. Fiber is not an essential nutrient for proper function, and in fact, it can actually act as an anti-nutrient. Not to mention that steak and eggs are some of the most nutrient-dense foods that a human can consume, which we are perfectly designed to digest. And as for carbohydrates, our body can make all of the glucose it needs through a process called gluconeogenesis. Vince Gironda was known for his unconventional approach to bodybuilding and nutrition, and one of his most well-known beliefs was that eggs could act as a minor steroid cycle. He believed that eating a lot of eggs was essential for muscle building and overall health, and he frequently advised his clients to eat at least a dozen eggs per day. Vince believed that the high protein content of eggs was the key to their muscle building ability, and he advised his clients to consume both the yolks and the whites. He also believed that eating raw eggs provided the most amount of nutrients, but he recognized that this wasn't for everyone and encouraged his clients to cook their eggs if they were uncomfortable eating them raw. Vince also believed that the cholesterol found in eggs was necessary for hormone production, and that eating a lot of eggs would help to optimize optimize hormone levels and promote muscle growth. After all, cholesterol is the backbone for many hormones in our body, including testosterone. Personally, I find the biggest benefit from following this diet is that I can recover in nearly half the amount of time, and I also don't really get that sore. My guess is that this is a combination of providing my body with all of the essential nutrients that it needs for muscle repair, while also eliminating all of the toxins in certain vegetables and processed foods that can be causing excessive inflammation in the body. Given that Vince's unconventional methods work so well, it's not surprising that he's worked with and has had a major influence on some of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. For anyone serious about bodybuilding and fitness, Vince Gironda's gym was the place to be. And let me tell you, some of the biggest names in the game, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, Larry Scott, and Lou Ferrigno, trained under Vince. In the early days of his career, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the legend himself, trained under Vince. Without Vince's guidance and training methods early on, Arnold may not be the icon he is today. Arnold has credited Vince with shaping him into the bodybuilding powerhouse that he was back in the day. Another one of Vince's star students was Larry Scott, the first Mr. Olympia winner. Larry was dedicated to bodybuilding, and training under Vince helped him to achieve the iconic physique he's known for, with biceps that could stop traffic. Vince pushed him to new heights and helped him establish himself as a true bodybuilding legend. And let's not forget Lou Ferrigno, the man behind the Incredible Hulk's muscles. Lou trained with Vince in the 1970s and credits him with helping him gain the muscle mass and strength required for his iconic role. These well-known bodybuilders and celebrities are just a few examples of Vince Gironda's influence on the world of bodybuilding and fitness. His training methods and techniques continue to shape the industry and inspire new generations of bodybuilders and fitness enthusiasts. For anybody serious about bodybuilding, the Iron Temple Gym in California was the place to be. It was the epicenter of all things bodybuilding, and it was there that Vince Gironda trained his clients and honed his one-of-a-kind training and diet protocols. Vince's clients were put through the ringer on a daily basis at the gym thanks to his intense and innovative training methods. He emphasized isolation exercises, high-protein diets, and even unusual exercises such as hand balancing and gymnastics, which has led to some of the greatest bodybuilders the world has ever seen. His clients saw incredible results in a short period of time and always left the temple feeling like they gave it their all. Vince is regarded as one of the greatest bodybuilding coaches of all time, and his innovative training and diet regimes have left a permanent mark on the industry. He was a true visionary, and his influence on the bodybuilding world can be seen in the development of the golden era bodybuilders in the 1960s and 70s. His promotion of high-protein diets, including his famous steak and eggs diet, was revolutionary, especially for the very limited amount of information about nutrition at the time. He popularized the concept of high protein, high fat, and low carb diets in the bodybuilding industry, allowing people to see the full effects of proper human nutrition. Not to mention his training techniques. They were unlike anything anyone had ever seen before, and they helped him stand out from the crowd and established himself as a true pioneer in the bodybuilding world. Vince's legacy lives on today, with bodybuilders and fitness enthusiasts all over the world that still implement his training methods and techniques. Whether you're a pro or just getting started, Vince's approach to muscle building is unique and effective. This is because a lot of these techniques, whether they knew it or not, were rooted in the principles of proper human nutrition and physiology. The Iron Temple Gym in California was a true bodybuilding mecca and the birthplace of Vince Gironda's unique training and diet protocols. Vince's influence on the fitness industry will live on, and his legacy continues to inspire and influence people today.